Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark, and today we have one of our authors as a guest, and she's an author advocate as well. So really excited to tell you more about that. But as a reminder, go on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, anywhere where books are sold, and grab the Author Success Handbook. You can also find it at authorsuccesshandbook.net. This is truly a tried and true way to build an author platform. We start with all the steps in order to be able to build this platform in a way that fits together, allows you to test and validate your audience, and move on and build all the moving parts you need for a successful book launch. So once again, www.authorsuccesshandbook.com or authorsuccesshandbook.net. Either one you can grab today. Today's guest is Sandra Martinez Roe. And with a background in children's fashion, Sandra Martinez Roe has been focused on this age group for over 2 decades and is thrilled to blend her career experience with her personal passion for the environment. As a mother, she knows how important it is to teach children about how connected we are to nature and each other, and that planting the seed from a young age will allow them to practice mindful and kind acts from the start that will not only benefit the community, but society as a whole. Sandra started writing children's books in the wave of a pandemic when she realized the times were a-changin', but the people were not. As a mother and advocate of the earth and its health, she has been participating in river park neighborhood cleanups since her son was 3. Once her son was of school age, she quickly realized that there were limited resources for families to engage in discussions and participation about the environmental challenges our generation is currently facing, and hopes this will help. Sandra's intention for this book is to make climate change a manageable topic for adults to explain and to empower children to deeply care for the environment. This book is the first in a series about a group of kids learning how to participate in what may seem like small changes, but are incredibly impactful if they get more folks to participate. Sandra's book is called Hello Earth Club, and I think you're going to be really intrigued by the way she will be promoting it, because it's a little bit different than what we're used to, and she has access to resources that most of us don't. But it is really interesting to watch or listen to how she built relationships that will help her sell this book. Stay tuned. Sandra, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good. So I'm really intrigued by what you're doing, because it is so out what I would consider your zone of genius, being in children's clothes. So tell us, how did you get in? You've been doing this for 20 years. How did you get into children's clothing, and what do you do with it?
So I got into children's clothing in 99. So it's been a minute, and it was just a serendipitous meeting of people that got me into it, and it's been incredible. It's a big learning curve. I was able to eventually partner with my first boss, who owned a wholesale children's showroom. And when I took over, I eventually got a business partner, and we expanded to New York, Dallas, Atlanta, and we already had the California location. So it's been growing ever since then. And yeah, basically I wholesale children's footwear and apparel and accessories to stores. So I sell anyone from somebody on Main Street to your local Nordstrom.
Nice. Very nice. So that sort of brings me to, and we'll get to it more at the end, the unusual distribution channels that you have that most people don't. So you transitioned and from there, and obviously you have a son that's 5, 6,
It'll be 7 in a couple of weeks.
Okay. So as part of that, I read in your bio that you have been taking him to environmental cleanups and just making him very aware of what's going on with the environment. Tell us a little bit about that, because 3 is so young to be taking them on cleanups.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's funny. I look back at pictures, and the concept really resonated with him and still does. We were just at the skate park. He was having his skateboarding lesson on Sunday. And, I came with my trash picker in my bag and I was cleaning the park while he was skateboarding. And, I overheard him say to his friend who he shares the class with, he said, hey, do you want to join Earth Club? And I looked and the little kid looked at him and said, sure, what is it? And he said, we basically pick up trash and do good things for the earth. And I thought, okay, it's working. And the little kid immediately was like, yes, I want to help. And he went for the trash picker and, they're arguing over who's going to hold the bag and who's going to pick up the trash. And it was incredible. And he's just used to it. Whenever we see whenever we see trash we need to pick up or water that's being with conversation that we have and, it just resonates with him. Where our trash bin, we call it the landfill or the recycle bin, so he can imagine where it's going and he's very conscious of what waste he's creating. Not in a bad way either. It's not daunting. It's just a fact of life, which is really nice. And I wish more people could do it,
Well, it sounds like you've made it a habit with him, which is, kind of, well, I remember my parents, we lived in California growing up, like we would see people, I don't know if I'm much older than you, but people would actually throw trash out. Like you'd be on the freeway and somebody would like throw the McDonald's bag out the window. We still see it. We've seen it before. And we just can't believe it, when a lot less than previous years, but we definitely see it. And it's always fast food. It's always, cups, Starbucks cups, McDonald's bags, et cetera. And it's pretty sad, and I also, he sometimes gets mad. Don't people know, why are they doing this? And I said, because no one taught that. And we need that what we're doing. We're trying to teach people, hey, that's not okay because this planet belongs to all of us. And we should all contribute to a nice planet. Who doesn't like to walk through a clean street, Exactly. And my parents were I hate camping, by the way. I just hate camping. I hate fishing. But my parents were big campers. And, they were always, what we bring, we take home.
Yep.
We don't. Yeah. You don't get to leave anything behind. So
absolutely.
Train. But if you do that when kids are younger, then it just becomes a habit. Like if I like throwing gum out the window. I probably shouldn't share that.
Gum.
I'm a gum thrower. So during the pandemic, when everybody was throwing masks on the ground, by the way.
Right.
Everywhere.
Oh my God. Everywhere.
You decided to write a book about this. So tell us a little bit about the book and why you wrote it, like how you came into all this, because it's so cute, but I don't know that I'd be creative enough to actually write a children's book.
I know it was I think it was a serendipitous calling for me because, there was a point prior to the pandemic that I had been thinking about this concept, a book about cleaning up the earth, something. And I think what it was, I just really started soul searching. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? What is my purpose? And, I started, a friend of mine, Mark, actually, who's not even a reader, he randomly gifted us a couple of books, my husband and I. And one of the books was about the environment. And I crack up because he didn't even realize what it was about. And I devoured the book. I couldn't believe it. And I was reading and learning, and I just got really into it. I started researching, what is going on with the planet? What is going on with the environment? And, and then I just really started channeling my purpose. Why am I here? What am I doing? And, I thought, well, I'm in kids. I have access to kids retailers. I had my child and I was doing this already. And, I happened to have two really great ladies that worked for us on the East Coast, one who happened to be an illustrator. And during the pandemic, we had to pump the brakes on our sales agency. And, when I let them know, hey, we need to make some changes and cut some hours, we didn't know how long. Obviously, we thought it was going to be a couple of weeks, but we had no idea. So I said to them, after the meeting, I said, let's reconnect on the other line. And we did. And I said, so you're no longer working for the sales agency, but what if we write that book that we've been talking about? And they were all about it. So we just started meeting on Zoom, almost every week and kind of reviewing what I wrote. And we just created it. And it's been so much fun. And it's a story about a group of kids that are climate curious, and they know something's going on, but they can't pinpoint it. And they finally do. And it's about, finding all though they're a little concerned about what's happening, they have a science teacher that basically shows them all the positives that are happening. And I think that's the biggest takeaway is there's so much good that is happening that we can all be part of. And if everyone just contributed a little to it, from us to big businesses to corporations, we can really make significant change. And I think really that's my goal, is to talk to the kids and trickle it up to the adults so that we can all join forces and take care of this planet,
Yeah. So how is it working with the illustrators? Because a lot of people who do children's books, that's the hardest part. Did you have a vision of what the kids look like in the adventures, or did the illustrators come to the table and say, this is what we have, what do you think?
It was, they came to the table with the drawings, and it was so impressive. I gave them the story and they came back with some concepts, and it was, these girls we vibe really, really well. We see eye to eye on a lot of things, and it was just a perfect match. It was just like a little tweak here. We did have multiple tweaks as we went because, this was a new project for both of us. But yeah, that was definitely what kept me going, was like, okay, we're a match. We understand, we're aligned. I love their style. It totally vibes with what's, going on with me. And it's funny because one of the characters, his name is Sunny Sunshine, named after my son. And the way that they drew it, I recently sent them a picture of Sunny now as he's 7. And I was like, he's literally turning into that character, which is so wild to me. I'm like, he really looks like him now,
Oh, that's so funny. Is he on social media? Like, can you put his little avatar up in the picture?
I should. I will. That'll be part of the postings for sure.
Yeah, that's a very cute idea. So as we get closer to publishing, you have a very unique distribution line. And you guys, the reason I want to talk about this a little bit is with the cost of paper constantly going up and the cost of distribution going up, all of the retailers take 55% of your retail price. So I really want to talk about this because anything you can do that you can sell the books yourself is going to keep that 55% in your pocket. For someone like Sandra, who doesn't have an expert business where she's selling products, she's selling services, this is a great way to get ROI from the book. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think I mentioned to you earlier, Christy Stansel wrote the book about the USC band leader, and she literally has sold thousands of books out at tailgate parties at USC. And now you have something a little bit similar because you guys do so many cleanups and you're actually out building relationships while you're doing this.
Yes. So obviously sales is what I know, but, this is a slightly different channel. And one of the things that I want to do is to sell them at environmental cleanups. I'm part of our neighborhood council, so we host a few events. I'm also part of my son's school, and I'm encouraging them to host more events like that. We did a cleanup last year, and I didn't know what the turnout was going to be, and the turnout was so incredible. So many kids, Girl Scouts showed up, and we were just cleaning the main street of our neighborhood, and the reception from the neighbors to the kids was just awesome. And so I find that, when people go by and say thank you and really appreciate what the kids are doing, it motivates the kids to continue doing it. And it also teaches them not to, throw things in on the street, because obviously they're going to end up being ones that clean it up. But so yeah, that's kind of part of the strategy, as well as like being involved with the neighborhood, being involved with our moms groups. I'm very active on social with a few moms groups, and they're very supportive, women's groups as well. But I feel like this topic speaks to most parents. So I feel like it's a daunting subject, and my goal is to make light of it and make it an inclusive action versus oh my God, what's happening here.
Yeah. You guys also too, I just want to point out, Sandra's got a great setup here, because being out there and people getting to know her selling these books on a one-to-one basis, if she chose at some point to have some actual club, because the book is called Hello Earth Club, she could do an online educational that's, $4.99 a month per child or something like that. So she's by having those personal contacts there, she's actually building a relationship, which is going to be a much easier yes for someone to say, because they're like, oh, I met Sandra at this cleanup, and she actually lives what she's talking about in the book. So it really does set you up to do something amazing with this, if that's your long-term goal with it. So
for sure. And I feel like, you need to be authentic when you're reaching out. That's been one of our, we're known, our showroom, our sales agency is known for us being genuine. We're very honest. We don't lie. If we don't like something, we'll let you know. We don't think it's going to sell. I don't think you should buy it. This is better. This may perform better for you, blah, blah, blah. And, there's a reason that we've been around for 20 years, and we do have a very tight connection with our customers. We do care that they survive. We give them as many tools as we can via social, media assets, anything that we can do to help them facilitate their work, because owning a small business is a hard thing to do. So the better your partners, the better it is, the better your experience, the better your chances of success. And I'm taking that and applying it to this book as well.
Yeah. And you have to, that's, people, we have this thing in my new book called ARC, which is Awareness, Relationships, Close. And you're following that pattern when you're meeting people, and, now they're aware you're there, you're building that relationship, and at some point you will be able to close them on the book. But in addition to our regular distribution channels, you have an in some of these major retailers too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, again, dating back for a really long time, we've been selling these retailers brands that have worked, thankfully. So it's when we pitch something, we pitch it if we really believe in it, if we know that it's going to sell. We suss out all brands before taking them on. We make sure that they go through a certain checklist, especially when it comes to majors, because that's a little bit different. The profit margin, the delivery dates, the product itself. So I think that with that, anybody from someone on Main Street to one of these major retailers, we make sure that we have the right tools and the right recipe to make sure that it sells. So I think it's funny, because as I was writing this book, I did tell a couple of my buyers, and one of them, texts me every few months and is like, how's the book going? What's going on? Are we going to buy it? And it's so flattering. I feel so blessed. And, I think that's why I really want to make it good, because I really appreciate that opportunity,
Yeah.
It's based on trust. It's based on history. They know that I wouldn't pitch them something that I didn't believe in.
So any long-term, are we going to see Sunny Sunshine dolls?
Yeah. We have a list of things that we want to launch for sure. A line of plush. We want to do a line of t-shirts that's called Hello Earth Club Explorers. And it's basically going to be tied into the particular environments that the consumer will find them in. So if it's a beach, if it's a lake, kind of how the importance relates to that. But one of the things that we have to be really cognizant of is because it's Hello Earth Club, we have to make sure that we're putting our money where our mouth is. It has to be sustainable. It has to be, ethically produced. So there's a lot of variables involved as we're researching this.
Yeah, no, I get my daughter is a manager at Whole Foods, and I'm always surprised when I say, "What did you have this?" And she says, "Well, do you know what's in that?"
Exactly.
And they're like, "Yeah." So they do much the same thing with the the way it's sourced and that. Because I've actually asked her a couple times, and boy, has she educated me.
I mean, that's kind of our jobs, right? If this is what we believe in, then we have to make sure we check off the list. And there's a lot of resistance almost to the climate curiosity. And there's a lot of people that this, that, and the other. Everybody thinks they have the answer, and there's different answers. There's different solutions, and none of them are perfect, and sadly, there is no secret recipe. We're all just doing the best we can to communicate about it and, be aligned on it. So yeah. And everything changes every day,
Yeah.
This is like the craziest summer that we've ever experienced, so it's all changing, and I think I'm excited to be part of it.
Crazy in what way?
Well, I mean, the fires, the floods, there's a lot more awareness on what's happening, overfishing the oceans. Just there's a lot of crazy things happening right now. And it's imperative that we start taking action.
Yes, very much so. So you guys, Hello Earth Club, we are still deciding on a release date, probably going to be September, October, but definitely something that you can reach out to Sandra, find out more. Sandra, where can we get a hold of you if we want to maybe buy some books from you for our own clubs?
Yeah, it'll be helloearthclub.com, and we're on Instagram. Instagram isn't posting yet, but it will be posting soon. There's some page landers there now, but yeah, follow that for updates for sure.
Yeah, very much. And, if you have something organizationally coming up, a cleanup coming up soon, reach out. There's no reason why you can't, take orders in advance and support this organization so we can get more kids involved in it. And, I'm sure Sandra would be happy to ship you some books if you want to purchase them for your own groups.
We'd love it. Yes.
Well, Thank you so much. So Hello Earth Club.
Yep.
Go over and check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.